Okay, guys, you may have seen this video, or not this video, but this particular class, this build on my channel quite a lot. I've been really loving this build. I'm just gonna quickly go over the end game starting stats at the start, and then quit back to them. So you can see it's level 77. It has 50 vigor at this level with no sword skill, 23 endurance, 30 strength, 17 dexterity, and we've even got 15 faith. I think the only thing that we have a plus on is the strength, so it's not like we're using two fingers and all that, like to put plus our strength up, faith up. It is what it is. So it's level 77. You want 50 vigor, it's 10 minds, it's 23 endurance, it's technically 25 strength, 17 dexterity, and 15 faith. So those are all the hard points that you want to put into to this build. Now, if you bear with me 1 second, I will get up. No, don't. This one keeps crashing for some reason, so we'll use this one. Okay, so the starting class, as you can see from this, is going to be Vagabond. This is because our vigor, strength, and dexterity are the highest. And since we need to take dexterity to 17, that would be 8 investment compared to 4 on the Vagabond. So considering we already have higher vigor, higher mind, and I think slightly less endurance and slightly less strength, it's actually better to pick Vagabond. So we're just going to go through all of our setup here, do whatever you want. Keepsake, I normally use Golden Seed on a low level character, just because I prefer to, like, you know, get those easier 14 flasks easier. I think without it, I have to go a few more places and it just makes it slightly a bit longer, you know. But so I start with Golden Seed normally. You can pick Crap Pot as well, it helps you out. It gives you 3 less pots in the world to have to farm if you want to use those. But the first main thing that I love to do on a low level build is this: go kick Kenneth Height from a great height. And then you can go pick up his seed when he falls. You can't really do that on a high level character. I mean, you can, but it kind of cooks you out of a plus 25 weapon. So it's only really worth doing on a low level character, but there you go, you kick him straight off. The first major skill here is Flaming Strike that we're going to quickly grab from Red Main Castle. We just go all the way around like this, and you see I'm having a little trouble doing some of the jumps for some reason, but yeah, we have to go all the way around the side of Red Main. You want to come here early, preferably before Radon, the Festival of War, because it's going to stop you from being able to get the next item we're going to pick up in this area. So you want to come quickly. I like to jump to the right hand side of this beetle if we're low level, because I don't really want to be pushing it towards the bats, especially since I'm using Source Seal at the moment. So we're just going to jump on the right hand side of it, push it to the wall, and then get on the ladder and pray that this bat doesn't almost kill us. You can see like that little few hits and we're at half health. So there's another bat over there or something, and I think one of the bigger bats, and I just didn't want to have to deal with that. So you just jump on the right hand side of it and push it to the wall. Next, you want to come into Red Main Castle. I like to grab that Site of Grace you just saw me run from for Radon later. You want to just stand on the side of this one here and just quickly just wait for him to stop finishing, and then just jump over. You want to run all the way down here. It's going to be a Virgin to your right. Yeah, a Virgin Abductor and Abductor Virgin, whichever way around that is, I always forget. But just ignore it and just keep coming and grab this little beauty here, the Red Hot Wet Blade. This will let you fire and flame art and fuse your weapons. So fire is the one we want now. The next pickup I like to do is this one down outside Fort Gale. It's right near the Site of Grace. You just have to wait for this thing to come around and just attack it when it gets round to you. And that gets you Flame and Red Mains. Next, you want to come towards Fort Gale. Hopefully not get fucked up by this dude as I almost did, but then come all the way around the back and And then grab flame, grant me strength is going to be behind these two big head, fire, flamethrower, tank, weird things that exist. And inside Fort Gale, you're going to be coming, going around the side, go up the ladder, and then just come over to this. Doesn't really matter we die here, because we're just low level picking up shit. So I did try to live, but they absolutely destroyed me there. But unless we've got the talisman, and that's what we want. The next thing that I like to come grab is I'll put flame and red mains on whichever weapon I feel like using, which is the halberd in this case. Make sure get it fire infused, and then a couple of flame and red mains on that. Normally stagger it and you can give it a riposte, and then blah blah blah. But I just want to cut that fight down. You want the flame shroud and cracked it. That's important. That's going to boost our attacks by 15% in PvP and 20% in PvE. The next thing we want is the Strength and Not Crystal tier, which is in the stormy area of Limgrave. I think it's just to the northeast of the Storm Shack. Next one to get is Eruption. This one's coming after the others because you normally have to do one invasion, I think, for the Volcano mana squad, and then which normally gives you scaled armor, which is good to use. You can see us using that there. Next is Icon Shield. Eruption, by the way, is quite slept on here. I feel like it's a true combo if it hits with some weapons. At least you can hit properly. But this is I just wanted to show off the build in PvE here a little bit. So I just got a clip of us fighting Godfrey. It's not like a PvE god. So you're not going to see the best of gameplay here. But I just wanted to show you this build just like. It just doesn't have any issues. I mean, this is just me taking like multiple hits from Godfrey in his face, just trying to trade Flame and the Red Mane, just face roll this fight. It's not a particularly difficult fight as it is, but to be able to just like show that this build like really trivializes this fight this much. I mean, this is the first stagger, and he's at like 45% here. We're gonna just dodge that, dodge this, and I think we stagger him again now. Oh no, I think it's free to stagger. Oh, I can't believe I didn't dodge that. It's so slow, that skill. And then we're going to finish him off here with the second riposte. And it's that easy. I mean, most of the bosses is pretty much just like that. And like even at plus 17, I've gone through new game with this character. This one is currently in new game plus, by the way. This is how good this build is in PvE as well as PvP. So there is one thing I missed out there. We'll go back to the game real quick, and I can just show you. There was one thing I forgot to record and add in there. Is you want the I don't actually have Rayo Lucaria open, but once you do Debate Parlor, once you do Red Wolf or Radagon, and you can come out here, and this is like the courtyard area where you jump over. You want to come up here and into this little building that's like right here. You'll come out of the Debate Parlor and you'll see some stairs to your left, and there'll be like stairs going up in a little building right there. You want to go like in this building here to get the magic wet blade. That just lets you do cold infusions and stuff. Originally it was just a fire build, but because of how weather works in this game, like most of the time if you go here for example, it's probably going to be raining. And if it's raining and you want to do lake invasions, fire is going to be really, really bad. So the idea was to get some cold infusion in there as well. And we also have some lightning options like Stormhawk Axe, Dragon Halberd, and the Veteran's Prophecies. These are just like some lightning infusion weapons I like to mess around with. They're all like unique, so it's not like it's like they're all like basically strength-based lightning weapons that I could find. This goes C, C, C. So it's all pretty much on the same scaling as everything else. It just does lightning damage instead. So in situations where we can't use fire as effectively, we can go to lightning, or instead I can use some of my cold infusions I have here and everywhere. The majority of the build is focused on fire though, so that's why I tend to invade areas where it doesn't rain anyway, so I don't have to resort to my cold stuff. But if I'm doing like like Taunter's Tongue stuff at first step and it starts raining during the fight, I can just swap onto a cold weapon, and then I'm doing pretty much the same amount of damage as I did before. I get the freeze proc as well, which pretty much makes my damage even out at the end of the day as well. So you don't end up losing a lot of damage for that. And you can also just use lightning as well to get like a ton of damage. This weapon is probably like quite nice because like 1 L2 and then like this is like this lightning is like it's lightning infusion and it's frost infused as well at the same time. So that's really hard for people to deal with. You get the standard halberd pokes as well with this weapon, so definitely recommend picking this up. I have a video on YouTube for an alternate route to get to the dragon halberd if you're unable to find the teleport in Sea of River. I never found it. I managed to find the falling route before I found the teleport. But same with Stormhawk axe as well. This does lock you into a long animation, but I've yet to be really punished for it. And as you can see, we get some lightning on our weapon for like. It's like 20-30 seconds or something. So even if they don't get hit by the thunderstorm, you know, you still got an infused weapon that you can use. I guess here, if you wanted, you could probably just put out 3 normal weapons and then maybe use a lightning resin. But I just prefer to have some uniques in there, so I decided to use the 3 lightning uniques. Another recommendation is a smoldering shield, which you can get inside. Volcano Manor. I like to have it just there in case I fight a bleed or a frost infusion. I can just throw it on my back, and it gives 30 robustness just being on my back. And then I can also, I don't know, just throw on like a stalwart charm or whole charm or something. And you can see we've got 406 robustness at this level now, and so I think that's quite nice. If I have to fight bleed, I don't tend to swap a lot, but if I fight double bleed, I probably would swap all this stuff on, just because I'm gonna get bled like every other hit, unless I can kill the bleed person quickly. But yeah, most of the time for PvE, it's just mostly just use your tier, and then like use a fire infused weapon, and you just do a ton of damage. Except at the lakes because everywhere's wet. You can use Flame Grant Me Strength. It gives like a 30-second buff. It makes everything strong as hell, by the way. We're at 650 AR, 712. I think if I go to like one of these, I'd probably have like 757 one-handed, 832 two-handed. So if you feel like you really need to burst down like an overleveled phantom, I sometimes will buff this as well on top of everything, and I'll just like, you know, just hit my flaming strike, my eruption, or whatever like fire infusion I want, and just like, you know, just delete someone really quick. It's like you can just it's like a quick little hyper mode for the build, even though it's already pretty hyper mode as it is. As you can see, the strength not crystal tier actually just adds 10 flat to your strength before any calculation. So two-handing your weapon gives you 60 strength with the strength not tier. So you're at 60 strength. Fire infusion with your flame shrouding on there at level 77 at 50 vigor. Oh, I should explain. My endurance is 23 because on this build I choose not to rock a poise breakpoint. Mostly because I don't feel it's necessary. You know, like a lot of the times you get a poise breakpoint right, and it basically it stops like a rapier or a long sword from staggering you. But in these weapons are like, they're really uncommon in PvP, and there are multiple options like a long thrusting sword to like do running R2s to really keep your distance on this build from someone. Oh yeah, I love the Godskin Situ, by the way. Godskin Situ with Flaming Strike and Storm Stomp on swap, probably the most suppressive weapon in the game, like hands down. Like, but that pretty much wraps it up for this build. I feel I've gone over absolutely everything. As you can see, look, the fashion is mostly for I optimize damage negation over poise and fashion. So I got, we're in water right now, so I can't really show you the proper stats. Let's go over here real quick. Get out of the water, and I'll be able to show you the proper fire and lightning resistance. It's pretty much like at least 20 across the board from what I know, which is insane given the fact that we also have like 1700. Yeah, it's like 22, 24, 23, 22, 23, 21, 22, 24 physical negation overall, like for standard damage. We get a lot of flat defenses for having high vigor. This is very, very, very tanky despite not having like any poise whatsoever. Like the gear we went for is common as Headband Altered, the Drake Knight Armor, the Drake Knight Gauntlets, and the Bulgari Greaves. It's simply just for reduction, and I think more than 40 poise or something can like does give us some hyper armor trades for some stuff, but like stuff like Storm Stomp. Anyway, like if you run a low poise build, like some of these skills like Storm Stomp, they just have like, you can literally just like, I've literally stood in someone's face. It's using Ultra Greatsword, and as they swing, I've gone for Storm Stomp, and I've been able to hyper armor their swing, and then punish them with it. Like, and you also get like increased defense when you hyper armor as well, so you can trade with Ultra Greatswords and actually come out top because you just that like that. And you just like, it's just about 300, 400 damage or something, and they probably do about 200 back to you because you hyper armored it instead. So yeah, I think hyper armor weapon arts are better than actually using any type of poise whatsoever and go for fashion. But that's just my my point of view. If you want to use this build as is, this is it all, baby. We've got the dragon, we've got the whatever weapons you want to use. It's optimized. The endurance is optimized around using this current fashion, using a lance, and having the icon shield in our left hand. So we are currently optimized to use 20 and a half units of weight other than our weapons. So you could throw in some heavy weapons there if you wanted to like, you know, single wield or whatever. Or you can increase endurance slightly more, but maybe go like less faith if you're okay with using like maybe the swapping on the two fingers heirloom or something to whenever you need to use bestial vitality or flame grant me strength. I'd probably go 5 less points into faith and then 5 more points into endurance if you wanted to make it a bit more tanky. But I think it's tanky enough, to be honest. As you've probably seen from the many kills I get with this build. It's I think it's a few hours old. How old are we? We're 38 hours old, and it's sitting at almost 200 kills pretty much. I don't pick up any finger remedies in game. This is pretty much all kills. I had more than these, but I sold them. And they're all like, they're pretty easy, pretty chill kills as well. Build's pretty strong. So I hope if you want to use this build, I hope you enjoy it. It's really good. At least in my opinion. We have so much fire and negation as well on this build. But yeah. Oh, before we go as well, a quick little note. Since we have Waves of Darkness. Waves of Darkness and Gravitas, they do proc the cold. That's why we have them. It doesn't just do a massive AoE. It also does the build up, so that's great. So we put Gravitas, that's fun to mess around with. You can pull people into enemies and shit, or just pull them off the sides of like cliffs and into their deaths. Waves of Darkness is just great AoE for like space control. It's got lots of hyper armor as well. Like I said, it procs freeze, so that's why you put it on there. And there was one more skill I forgot to go for. Flame Cleanse Me. We picked this up from the Church of the Vows. You come down here. There should be I think there's a fire camp right about here, in between these here, and there'll be Fire Spur Me, the emote, and Flame Cleanse Me. I prefer to use this because it's kind of a 3-in-1. It only let's go to the skill description real quick. See, it increases this is alleviates build-up and cures poison and scarlet rot. It also cures frost, because when you do it, you actually burn yourself a little bit, so that actually cures frost as well. Not that I need to do it, but it's mostly there for scarlet rot. So if I ever come across scarlet rot in PvE In PvP, you don't have to farm a shit ton of boluses. You don't have to be scared of it. It's a simple little skill pickup. It costs 12 faith to use, exact same as Bestial Vitality. So if you're going for Vitality as well, you might as well grab it, in my opinion. It doesn't really cost that much FP. Like, I'm sitting at base FP and it's probably used about like maybe a sixth of my bar. It's pretty fast to cast as well. If you get a little bit of distance from yourself, you can just like, you know, cleanse yourself off if you get rotted. For poison, I would just use a bolus, but for Scarlet Rot, I think it's just better to have that skill around than have to farm boluses in general. At least since this build can use it, why not, right? And we hit the minimum faith rex for it anyway, without having to use two fingers. But once more, it's 50, 10, 23, 25, 17, and 15 on the stats that you need to invest into for that. For vigor, mind, endurance, strength, dexterity, and faith. And then we get the 30 faith by using Star Scourge Heirloom at all times. We take the off look, we're at 25, but put it on now, we're at 30. Great Jar's Arsenal. These are the only two actual talismans that are required if you're copying this build. Everything else, I tend to use Shard of Alexander a lot because it'll greatly boost your skills. You can swap these two in, but basically like these two you never swap, and then these two you can swap around as and how you please. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope the build does work, or it does as much work for you as it does for me. I hope you enjoy killing many people, being the Dragon King. But yeah, until next time, goodbye and good night.